Welcome to part 5 of how to make a glitch hop track from scratch. So this is the part where we finally start working on the drop, but as I said I would do in the last episode, I did some stuff off screen which it's stuff that I've already covered in the previous episodes, but it's kind of cool, so I'll go over it after I started working on the drop. So after all that's said and done, I'll go over what I did and at least, kind of quickly explain what's going on there and what's different about this track now, about the intro. So let's get to the bass and experimentation. As always, I'm gonna go ahead and play what we got from the last tutorial and what I added to it off screen. So I changed a bit of stuff, and I added a little bit of stuff, and I filtered a little bit of stuff, but we'll talk about that later. So first of all, I'm gonna go ahead to my area here where the drop begins. I'm gonna highlight it to focus on that region, and I'm gonna start bringing in some drums. So I definitely want to use the kick again, and the snare, and the closed hi-hat. So I'm gonna copy some of this stuff and paste it and bring it over to the beginning of the drop. And I'm gonna keep the drum line quite similar to how it was in the intro, just to preserve the groove that we had before and this little fill over here. I'm just gonna go ahead and play back from an earlier part, just so I can get a feel of what it should drop into. So I'm definitely feeling some kind of phasey, wobbly kind of thing, and I'm just gonna mess around with a couple of sounds and a couple of different rhythms. Now I'm gonna bring down the pitch, and then I'll look for a wavetable that sounds pretty badass. So this phase section does some pretty cool stuff. Alright, so now this sound's starting to take shape already, so before I continue with this, I'm gonna go ahead and draw in a little bit of MIDI, just so I can start to get a groove going here. I'm already pretty happy with the sound, but it definitely can still get a lot better, so I'm just gonna keep working on trying to make it take shape now. So now I'll bring in a second filter. Alright, so after messing around with it for quite a bit, I finally found some positions for the filter knobs that I'm happy with, and it made the sound quite beefy, so I'm just gonna keep messing around with some MIDI and some speeds and try and get the right sound that I want. So this sounds pretty cool when you spread it out a little bit with some unison, some chorus effect stuff, and just make it a little bit wider. I'll just use the LFO to make it spread out. Sounds pretty cool. And to clean it up a little bit, I'm gonna put an LFO on this amplitude, the volume of the main wavetable. That kind of removes that weird bottom endy sound from the beginning of it when the LFO is at the bottom. It just sounds strange. So now I'm gonna clone these instances of Massive, and I'm gonna change the LFO speeds of them, and I'm gonna mess around with some grooves before I change the individual sounds. So one cool thing to change on all of these is the phase knob, and the way the phase knob is, well, the amount that the LFO is affecting the phase knob, it changes the sound drastically. So just changing this between the different sounds already makes them sound like complete different sounds. So the thing about this is to just keep messing around until you have something that you're really happy about. So I'm just gonna keep doing that. Now that I know I'm gonna keep these sounds, I'm gonna go ahead and name these things. Now I'll throw them in a mixer. So I got something that I'm kind of cool with for now. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw some chords on top of it. I'm not gonna use these exact same sounds on top of this bass. I'm just gonna put this on top here for now and use this MIDI information to work with and to keep working on this drop and make it sound like it's part of the song, and you know, give it something to go off of. I want to bring in elements from the rest of the song too, from the intro, to kind of tie the drop and the rest of the song together a little bit more. Now those two hat grooves don't work together. just gonna do single hits. And I'm gonna continue this chord progression over here to the next phrase at least. Now I'm gonna switch it up over here. I made this pattern unique and I'll use this other sound. And I'll make it do a cool little pitch bend. But first, I must engage the mono legato tremolo. Gotta fix the speed. Alright, sounds pretty cool for now. I'm just gonna copy and paste this so I can change some stuff up afterwards and so I can just keep going with it. And I'm gonna bring in this white noise, I think, to fill it up a little bit. And I turned it up last time. That was a little bit too loud there. So I want to bring in another sound in this little gap that we have here, and I'm just going to use a square. Adding this kind of envelope to the pitch will give a punch. Now this sound sounds a little weird since we haven't post-processed any of the other sounds or this one. They're all still raw the way they come out of Massive. So it sounds a little strange, but this one will make more sense in the next episode. So I'm gonna grab some of those plucks from earlier and I'm just gonna take a little segment. I'm gonna find a cool part of this pattern and I'm just gonna have it fill up this little section. This will definitely sound pretty cool when I automate the reverb tail. So I'm going to put a fruity balance on it, and that way I can control the volume of it. I can just automate the volume over here, and so that way no reverb will play after this little highlighted section here. And it should sound pretty good. I guess that can stay there. I think I'll put that that square bass over here too. So I'm gonna finally replace these super saw sounds over here. Well, not replace them, but change them just for this drop section. So I'll copy the MIDI, and I'm gonna insert a new massive, and I'm gonna try to make it sound a little organy and different than the other one. So bear with me on this, because this organy wavetable is just going to be part of a layer, and I'm going to layer it up with a saw. I think I should transpose these notes here from these chords up an octave. I think that'll sound a little bit better. At least this way it doesn't interfere as much with the bass, because it's not in the same part of the frequency spectrum. At least it spreads it out a little bit. Still gotta work with the sound a little bit though. So the problem I just realized is that this automation here for that clip is on the group of all the key sounds, and I just stuttered. So I gotta fix that. So I'm just gonna get rid of this and figure out a different way of doing this. I'm just gonna move all this other stuff up and put a balance on there and link the volume on the balance to the same automation clip, and I'll just keep this automation clip up here, and it should work. That's not too shabby, right? Works for now. So I'm gonna put some more hi-hats over here and copy and paste again. It's not a crime. So I'm gonna solo and highlight this pluck thing from earlier, because I'm gonna record it in Edison, and I think that'll just make it a lot easier to work with, and then I really won't need this little automation for the reverb tail, because then I can just chop it, and I'm gonna do that for a few different sections from the pluck pattern. So I'm just gonna record this and drag it in and replace it with the MIDI clip. And I'll name it and give it its own effects slot. Now I'm going to make it really wide, and to do that I'm going to use wide mouth, which is free. It's a free widener. And it's really simple, it just has two sliders. So this will make it nice and wide in terms of the stereo image. Now my next step is to record part of this bass line for the build-up. So I'm gonna solo all the bass without the square bass, and I'm gonna record it into Edison like I did with the other thing. So now I can bring it into the build-up, which is pretty cool because it'll help me tie together the build-up and the drop a little bit, and it won't be so random, but it also won't feel as hard, and it'll still have a nice contrast because there's already filtering going on in this track right before the build up, so it's not as strong and in your face until it actually drops. And I'm also gonna take away all the low stuff on it and filter it into the build up so it'll blend nicely. So now that I've named it, I'm gonna send it into the effects mixer, and I'm gonna send it to the group as well so it gets sidechained and everything. So now I'm just gonna use a, whoops, not that. I'm gonna use a high pass filter and take out any bottom end, and now I'm gonna use another filter. I'm gonna use this low pass filter, and I'm gonna filter it in. I like the way basses sound when they get filtered in with low pass filters. And especially when you don't bring it in all the way and then just have the full thing hit you in the drop. I think that sounds pretty cool. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use wide mouth again on the other chords because in our intro and stuff the melody's in the middle and the chords will be nice and wide and it'll sound very nice. So I'm going to make use of this sample again and I'm going to put it over here, and same thing in the second phrase, and then we'll record some different parts for what's left over because we have these other gaps and still need stuff to fill it. So let's do that. I'm just gonna keep using this little tool here to switch between the phrases till I find something that fits. Okay, well, so here's what I'm going with. So same thing again. I'm gonna solo it and record it through Edison, because I think that sounds pretty nice. So I'm just going to drag it in here again and replace it with the MIDI versions. So now I just need to send them to this same effects slot over here so I can mix them the same way. So I'll possibly layer the sound with something else in the future, and probably throw in some other fun little stuff, but it's definitely getting there. It's definitely starting to get a feeling, and it's definitely starting to take on its own little identity of a track. It's growing up, this track. It's reaching teenage years. So for this next part, I'll take some open hi-hats maybe to add some excitement. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's like a 6 out of 10. Not too shabby, so I'm gonna copy and paste it again. Next part, definitely all about making cool little transitions and making things unique and adding variety. So this part's pretty important because we have mid-range sounds, but we have no sub, and sub is pretty important for drops, especially in this kind of genre. So I'm going to make this pattern, merge it together, and this will be the first sequence, and then I can add individual subs for each sound. So I'm just going to start by cloning the first sound. And I'll name it something that makes me recognize that it's a particular sound's sub. And then I'm gonna link it to a new effects slot, and this will be the effects slot for all the drop subs. So I want the sub to keep this shape and this kind of LFO movement. So what I'll do is I'll just turn off all the effects, all the other wavetables, everything else will be off except for the first wave shape, the first wave oscillator, and it'll just be a straight sine wave, nothing else, and all it'll modulate is the volume, the amplitude, with the same exact LFO. And I'm going to make sure that it's just one voice, it's not spread out, it doesn't have any unison on it or anything like that. And I'll hit restart via gate and it'll be a nice and strong sub. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, I'm just going to copy the sub, and what I'll do is I'll copy and paste the LFO rates for the different subs, and pretty much make one sub copy for each sound that I'm using, except for the square wave. So now I have 3 subs in Massive, and each one of them has different LFO speeds corresponding to the other sounds in the drop. And I've copy and pasted the MIDI so they do the same thing. Now, one reason I don't need to make a sub for this square bass is because it's a square bass. Doesn't have much going on. It has quite a bit of sub already, so there's not much I need to do for that. So now I just need to make sure that I put a high pass filter on all the other basses in the drop, so that way there's not going to be anything that's going to be messing with the sub and make it sound weird, and it'll be nice and clean, and it'll sound like it's one with the sub. So let's check out this bottom end here and see what that sounds like. So that's not too shabby for now, not too bad. So this is the part where I go over what I did off camera to enhance the intro, so let's do that. So for the beginning I put a Fruity Love filter on the second pluck with a gate effect. And I also added a little bit of a bit crushing sound to it and a bunch of reverb and delay after it. And I thought this sounded kind of cool, how it comes in and reverbs and everything. So I layered the main lead here with another sound that's very similar, just way wider and way more chorused, and I put this pitch attack on the main sound itself from the last episode, and this just makes it sound a little funkier and gives a little bit of character. That's just a high pass filter for the transition to make it interesting. Alright, so I chopped up the bass for this part, which I'm surprised I didn't do that before. I, again, just made it do the whatever the rest of the sounds are doing. And I made these two second pluck lines unique and added kind of, a new section again. And I put the bell pluck on this last part of the build-up, well, after the breakdown. And here I automated some reverb on the main lead, so after this section it goes up, the decay goes up and it just kind of extends into the breakdown. And here we have a sub drop I made in Massive, really simple, just LFO making a pitch go down, and that also kind of added to this transition and to the breakdown, and I thought it sounded nice, so that's what I did. So as usual, I'm going to go ahead and play the track without talking, and then afterwards I'm going to comment on what's coming up in the next episode and what I think should be added and changed, and my thoughts on the whole matter. Okay, so the next video is definitely going to focus a lot on processing these sounds and maybe a little bit of more sound design for new sounds and processing those. But I definitely want to focus as well on just adding some more variation to it, so to keep it more interesting and make the drop not just repeat itself. And there'll probably be a lot of chopping going on, and I'm gonna see if I can make use of some cool percussion sounds and whatnot. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching. Have a good one.